is just being a turd.
Boo.
It was doing this last night when we were doing Kevin's birthday game.
Yeah, okay.
So I should have it figured out by game night. I'm probably going to wind up using my computer.
Oh,
So, if nothing else, I can hear y'all. So, I'll message back and forth with Kevin if I have to, because I know he's set up on his computer.
okie dokie. Okay, let me get this stuff set up. All right, I have a password for Rogue.
Thank you.
I do have a question about the VTC.
Yes.
How do I set up the dice?
There's if you're asking how to configure them visually, I believe you're looking for the gears on the top right of the screen. If you're asking how to roll them, the character sheet does it um, by clicking on certain attributes and skills and stuff, and you can do it in chat by typing /R 1d20. So I put a like in front of it so that it's uh, yeah. What I'm trying to say is if I type the word /R 1d20, it'll roll 1d20.
Okay.
So there we go. Boom. Apparently my dice are set to blue right now. So while you guys are logging in, I will give you a background because that's kind of where we need to start. It's a bit story driven, and there's / character driven, and there's some things that are what's the word I'm looking for? I just want you to understand the situation that the characters are in coming in. So, in a nutshell, everybody is um, the experiment of this group. This group that started in the 1960s with the intention of creating a new spirituality and a new way of living um, with maximum positivity and all this new age hippy dippy stuff. And whatever happened in the last, you know, whatever years, there's going to be like some history that you'll find out along the way. But what it amounts to now is that they've got these mutations that they've created that they're raising for some reason, and you're treated very cruelly. You're held in captivity in this facility, and you've never seen the outside world in your entire life. Um, every one of you was every one of you was mutated and raised and trained by this group. Dr. Mercurio is the head of the facility, and basically, you almost never see him. The one you see more often than not is his name is Donata, and he is a very cruel, sadistic scientist slash psychic therapist. As you are all coming of age, you're starting to feel psychic powers awakening within you, but the entire facility is held under a psychic dampening field that you don't know much about it, but you can feel it. And when it's on, which is basically all the time, you can't do anything with your psionics. Okay, so that's sort of the big picture background of this. And remember, it's important that these characters have never seen the outside world. They've lived their entire lives inside this facility. The facility dictates day and night. There's no windows to see outside, and they have a training area, which is very much like a gymnasium that you get trotted off to daily, and then you have a therapy room, and sometimes you're subjected to some different experiments as well, by these different figures. So primarily, the guy you see is Donata more often than anybody else, but there's also, what's the word I'm looking for? Like henchmen, I guess, or goons that just sort of wander around. They're sort of just like thugs that kind of keep things in line in the place. And then there's a few others that are different from those guys that you once in a great while see. And you're not sure who those others are per se, but you are sure that they seem to be much more powerful. They're not like these idiot goons that you're seeing, that are kind of commonplace. So every NPC basically that you see on a regular basis is a villain. You might encounter others that are not, but your everyday your everyday experience is entirely that everybody that you interact with just about antagonizes you. Now, with these names, I'm going to put this up in just a moment here so that you can see what we have to work with. But with these names, they named you when they were bringing you up, and your names are sort of part of the whole deal. Part of the torment. If you hate these names, it's not like it's okay to change it, but I just want you to keep the idea in mind. So, and then the reason we're using pre-gens is because Palladium is a big learning curve, and I want this to be a 3-shot where we just pick it up and we start adventuring next week. So I'm not gonna have a character creation session. I'm just gonna have us choose. So I put it in the chat on my server for TMNT. I'm gonna put it in the chat on Facebook as well, because there were a couple that expressed interest that are not that haven't shown up yet. So I don't know if they're still planning on coming, but I'm going to put this up here. So okay, so I generated 9 characters, all of which, everything that I told you applies to each of these 9 characters. The entire scenario is um, you are you are coming of age and you're kind of awakening psychically and physically inside, and the entire objective of the scenario is for you all to escape the facility. Once you get out alive, the facility is behind you, the adventure is over. Um, Being raised in such strict conditions, you were strictly forbidden from learning any kind of hand to hand combat or any kind of self defense beyond what is natural and instinctive. I do not recommend getting involved in combat in this adventure because you will be outgunned at every possible place. There will be more there will be more powerful, highly trained type opponents that if you try to attack them, it might not go well. Um, but like I said, you do have your natural abilities, and with mutations, like there can be a lot of possibility for things like natural armor, natural weapons, and so on, like that. All of that is, um, that's you will have access to that, but what you won't have is any kind of even basic training, let alone specialized. Um, Palladium works on an action system. It's actually attacks per round, but really, more realistically, it's actions per round. There will be, for most of you, probably 2 or 3 actions each round you'll have available, or maybe it's 3 or 4. Forgive me if I'm getting this number wrong. Um, Most of your antagonists will have in the ballpark of 7 or 8. So there will be the way Palladium combat works is it's like um, if you start getting involved with damage dealing and damage taking, what happens is it comes off your SDC first. That's acronym for structural damage capacity, and that's like superficial surface damage, right? Like if you have armor, it's just cracks in your armor, or maybe not even cracks. Cracks maybe isn't the best word, but like a scratch in your armor or something like that. Once the SDC gets worked down to 0, it goes into your hit points. And the hit points, when you start taking hit points damage, that's real damage. That's actual meat points. Um, which that sometimes in a few rare cases like assassination type specialized skills or death blows and stuff like that, there are certain ways that an attacker can bypass the SDC and go straight to your hit points, but it's rare. It's highly specialized, and it usually requires a natural 20 with all but the highest level things. And you guys are level 1. I'm not putting you up against like level 15 guys, but some of them will be like level 5, 6, 7. Um, I mean, I'm not putting you up against anybody. I am imploring you to outsmart, outwit, evade them, run from them, and get out. um, Another thing about Palladium combat that you will find is that the actions are sort of like almost a third hit point pool, and the meta on this game is about taking out your opponent's actions. So a trained warrior will do things to you like flip and knock down to force you to use an action to get back up, which is not desirable. Winning initiative is a pretty big deal in Palladium, and the more you can do to harry, to interfere, to trip, to trick, to anything like that is going to be that's only going to help you if you do get involved in a tangle. I mean, there's probably going to be scuffles realistically. We're trying to avoid them. So let's see. Oh, Jonathan's trying to get in. Let me try to help Jonathan here for a moment. Let's see if we can get this sorted. And if there's questions or discussions so far, please just feel free to just chime right in.
Um, if nobody has a problem with it, I know which character I would like to be if and when we get to choosing.
Yep, that's what I put the image up there for. Is it's ready for you to choose.
I'd like to go with Poe simply because I'm weird and I know enough Corvid facts that I can play that one really weird.
Okay, cool. That works for me. It says voice chat is locked.
He may not have thumbs up the rules because it was doing that to me before I thumbs up everything.
Yep. It Discord makes me do that, by the way, because I wanted to make this server public.
I I like pumpkin.
All right. So pumpkin. Well, I'll introduce you a little bit more in a moment here, as soon as I get Jonathan in. Pumpkin and Poe are good choices. They're all pretty good choices.
I'm sorry, but I'm just seeing. Is this on the VTT?
No, I put it in. I can put it on the VTT also. Might as well.
Oh.
But I put it in the Discord chat. But I can easily replace that. That's just a background picture. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just there for kicks. Just something to look at. So. Shoot.
Where into the Discord chat? Sorry.
The TMNT text channel, TMNT/ATB. ATB, by the way, stands for After the Bomb, which is the exact same game. It's the second edition of the game that we're playing. And if you feel like you want to get a book or whatever the case may be, you're looking for After the Bomb. And the reason for that is... Okay, he's Dark Physician. Got it. All right. I'm not the greatest multitasker. That's not the reason for After the Bomb. I'm just saying I'm not the greatest multitasker. The reason it's After the Bomb now is because Palladium, in classic Palladium style, lost the IP rights to TMNT. They're doing another Kickstarter, actually, or have done another Kickstarter, and there is, in fact, another version of actual TMNT coming, I understand, from Palladium. I don't know when to expect it, but it has. I know it's been kickstarted, but I don't know much else. I don't know very many details about it.
Hey, it worked.
Jonathan, you make it?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think so.
Wunderbar. Let's see. I am. If you'll bear with me for a moment. That's not what I was looking for. I'm trying to multitask here, like I said, and I'm okay at it, but not the greatest.
I just like the ability to singularly task.
I feel that.
Well, I set an alarm
Right in the
for
feels.
7 o'clock tonight so that I could join this on time, and I believe I set it for 7 a.m. tomorrow.
I feel that too.
Yeah.
Believe me, I totally get it. I have been there and done that, as they say. Okay, where did that image go? I don't know where it went. Let me just go back and save it again. Okay, so
I'd like.
Just a heads up, I am on my cell phone. I'm waiting to connect my laptop to the internet until after I get it at my own place.
okay, cell phone should be fine for tonight. You might not be able
Yeah.
to get into the VTT. In fact, I don't think you will be able to. But I don't think you're really going to need it for tonight. I'm just showing it as a preview and to kind of get everybody hopefully a little bit familiarized with it enough, at least to kind of navigate even just on a basic level.
Heard.
I'd like to call dibs on Captain Courage.
Okay.
You can open the VTT. You can't do Jack Diddley on it from the phone because that's what I'm on. It opens it. It just doesn't show everything or let you do anything on it.
I think I'm not surprised. Oops. Oh boy. I hope I didn't. Okay, I think I'm good.
Hey all, I have to log off now. But if no one takes them, I'd like the Dr. Durrington or whatever it is.
Dr. Dunstan?
Yeah, Dunstan.
Okay. Got it.
Is there anything else that I need to hear or see before I take off?
Honestly, I think I pretty much have covered everything, more or less. I'm gonna configure the Dr. Dunstan character sheet to be under your ownership, and same with I'll do that for everybody's character that you've chosen. So.
Absolutely.
So.
All right, I've got to log off too. I've got some things to do. Oh, later.
Glad I could show up. So who all's got their thumb on a character right now?
I believe I heard Pumpkin got called, Dr. Dunstan got called, Captain Courage got called, and Poe got called. I was hoping, I tried really hard to make sure that everybody was at the same time, so.
It happens. I think I'd like bingo.
Bingo is pretty awesome, so. And I think Fred already left, but Poe actually, everybody gets to add 3 attribute points except for Poe because Poe had such unusual rolling luck. So.
We'll have to, I don't know, you'll have to kind of guide me on the character creation here. I'm like, you know what I mean? But
the characters are mostly created with, and I'm fine with you doing some tweaking, but there's also some aspects left to tweak that you can you can
Right. Yeah.
configure
These
to a
were
degree.
pre-generated characters. I just, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just getting it ready. I want to understand the game and not be holding everybody back.
Nobody
I just,
understands Palladium.
good enough.
Don't worry
I
about it.
actually I had an invite to play Palladium a while back, and I missed it. So
Did I send you a login for the VTT, or did I not do that for you yet?
I don't believe you've done that for me yet. I mean, I've been kind of wishy-washy, and I was your last-minute guy anyway. So
That's fine. Don't worry about it. Really, actually,
Well.
last minute is a week from today.
heard. Well, it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's been rough. I just moved back up to Oklahoma, and I don't have the keys to my new place yet. So all next week I'll be moving in, and I'm trying to be done by Friday so that I can join the game. Which
we can get you in, even if it has to be just verbally. That's okay. We can make it work.
okay.
So,
Well, I was gonna say it shouldn't be stressful at all because I should be getting the key on Monday. I'm finalizing my paperwork tomorrow with the apartment complex, and then all next week I'll get electricity, I'll get internet, and I'll rent a little U-Haul pickup and move all my crap, which is just, I don't know, 2
Woo.
buildings down from where I'm at currently. Yeah. But I'm couch crashing on a buddy's couch at the same apartment complex, and his lease goes up at the end of this month, so we're just going to be roommates after that. We got a 2-bed, 2-bath.
Okay. And I just texted you the login information, DM'd you the login information.
I saw it.
And that link is a link to the VTT, which runs on my computer. The upshot is, unlike Roll20, we won't really have any lag in theory as long as my local internet is working fine, and yours is too, but you know that always is the case. And the downside is it's not like the type of website that's up 24/7, 365. So if I'm running it, then you can go to that URL and log in. But if I'm not running it, it won't do anything. So, and for security, I will periodically change that URL as well. So
That's totally fine, man.
of course, I'll tell you when that happens.
Right.
So
But yeah,
these characters were essentially raised in a facility as experiments, treated cruelly. They were mutated and created by this group of I don't want to call them scientists exactly, because that's not really the right choice of word. They were starting in the 60s. They were trying to start this new age kind of hippy dippy kind of culty kind of thing, and whatever happened in the last 20-ish years or so, it all kind of that whole whatever lofty ideals they might have had all got lost, and now it's just this nasty. It's this secret experimentation facility. They're raising these mutants, and essentially, to what purpose you don't know, but you've never left the facility. The facility has no clocks or windows. There's no indication of any life outside the facility. It gives you just a complete, like there's a complete control over you. And the characters at this age have been starting to have these, they're starting to awaken psychically inside and starting to discover these psionic powers that they're having. But they can't get them to work because there is some type of psychic dampening field in use at the facility, and it's on basically 24/7, 365. And all of these characters are in this same situation. The entire objective of the scenario is to escape the facility. I do not recommend combat. You were raised very strictly. You were not allowed to learn any kind of hand-to-hand self-defense. You were taken to a facility essentially like a gym, and you got regular workouts and exercise and stuff like that. You've got a lot of physical training, but no combat training. So you don't know anything about weapons or defending yourselves. You have the basic, like natural, instinctive. You might have natural weapons, and you might have some attack instincts, but this is going to be, in my mind at least, is a game of avoiding combat and trying to evade, trick, outwit, outmaneuver, and escape.
Okay. Different gameplay style for sure.
Yep, and if you've never played Palladium, I don't know how to really introduce it to you in a nutshell, except to say that it's pretty bonkers, in a very beautiful way. Sort of, it's something that I'm really fond of in my heart. But I mean, objectively, it's a fucked up system. there's just a lot of details to it that don't match up and stuff. So all I'm kind of trying to say is don't beat yourself up over it. Don't get too worried about rules as written, or too worried about learning every detail or every aspect, because it's you're not slowing us down. We're all going to be learning at the same time, so it's going to be
Gotcha.
interesting.
Gotcha. I'm trying out Mork Bork tomorrow night, which is
That's what
the
I've been wanting to
Swedish.
try out too.
Yeah, I'm pretty stoked for it. It's a buddy of mine who's actually like a heavy metal musician
Ooh, nice.
that's running it. So, and he's
I like it.
he hasn't started purchasing the books yet because the base edition is free on their website.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh,
and there was also there was just a Kickstarter. No, not Kickstarter. Humble Bundle of Call of Cthulhu, and I picked that up, and that's another game that I want to try at some point.
Yes, I've been wanting to play that for years because of an Old Man Henderson post I read. So
we're gonna. I have played it once. I have played a one shot of Call of Cthulhu, and what I kind of wanted to do for basically since January of 2023 is I've been wanting to do a lot, just try a lot of different games that I've never tried before, which means kind of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a bad example because I have tried that before. But Call of Cthulhu, we played it once, and it went pretty well. I liked it. Everybody survived, which is not supposed to happen. But yeah, it looks like fun.
I'll try to send you the Old Man Henderson post that I read. It's really long, but the whole story altogether is amazing, and it's even better because it's confirmed by like 4 or 5 people that it's a true story about these guys playing Call of Cthulhu.
Okay, yeah, send it.
Yeah, it's nuts, like the stuff that they all went through. But with the description that you gave me of this TMNT Palladium game that we're about to play, that's kind of how most of the grimdark fantasies that are coming out in recent years are running. Like, they don't want you to try to brick wall or run headfirst into enemies. They want you to be creative or you're going to die, and they really punish people for it now. There's another grimdark that just came out like within the last 5 years called Zweihander. But I don't think the project really took off the way that they hoped it would.
Oh, that's too bad. That's why they call them fantasy heartbreakers.
Yeah, but I'm actually pretty stoked for this.
Real quick, somebody chose Pumpkin. I'm trying to remember who chose Pumpkin. Are you still here? Person who was playing Pumpkin? The squirrel. Maybe they already left. Bingo.
So how would I get a look at this character sheet? I tried to join. Let me see here.
You can't.
It's asking for.
you can't do it on your phone. It's your phone. Like Fred said, that it's gonna do next to nothing. I mean, you can look at it more or less, but you have to be pretty much on a computer to. Maybe tablet will do some stuff. Maybe tablet will do a lot of stuff. I'm not quite sure, but
Well, let me just let's see here. Select user, Jonathan. It's asking me for a password.
yep, I DM'd it to you. It's just a string of random characters.
Or yeah, it won't let me paste it. Which is fine.
Sorry.
Yeah, yeah. It's all good. I'll figure it out.
Okay, Rogue Baptist was Captain Courage, if I'm remembering right.
Yep.
And Kevin is Dr. Dunstan. He already left. I got him set. Bingo is Jonathan. Right? Yeah, I got it. Dr. Dunstan. Bingo. Ho, that's Fred. So Pumpkin must be Sly then. Maybe Sly took a break. Okay, configure ownership.
Oh, you did me dirty. You put X's and B's back to back.
I didn't do anything. It's a randomly generated string. I had the website do it. While we're here, if you got a few more minutes, I can do a screen share and walk you through a little bit of this. Let's see here. If you run out of time for this, don't feel shy about just bouncing on out of here. It's no big deal.
We're good.
But I thought maybe that would be a good thing to do. Okay, is my screen sharing in the Discord chat?
Oh, hold on. Yeah, it is.
Okay, wonderful. So I'll just show you a few little bits of this character sheet while we're here. So nobody chose Hippo, so this is a generic character sheet, and it's a pretty good character sheet. I really applaud the programmer for taking all the effort that they did. There is no official character sheet for Palladium on Foundry or Roll20 or any VTT that I know of. There is a different system called Savage Worlds that uses the Rift setting, but that's different than what we're doing. It's another it's another thing I do want to try, but that's a topic for another day. That's not the actual Palladium system. The actual Palladium system is it's a combination D20 D percentile system with most of the combat actions and most of the attribute actions being a 20. And so if I do a physical strength roll, this is a Hippo, he's got crazy physical strength. So the numbers can go much higher sometimes than what you might see in a D20 game. Others are pretty bad. He has a really bad IQ. So if I roll my IQ, I got an 18. That was a lucky roll, but that still might not be high enough to do anything. If I go over to combat, I'll see my saving throws and some different actions I can take. So my action pool, I think Yeah, okay. One action is wrong. That's not how many actions they have. I can't remember if they have 3 or what. Seems like 3, but I need to double check that. But it's more than one, because you would need more than one. But let's go to combat and say somebody has somebody has attacked. We rolled initiative, and somebody attacked Hurricane. Um, and I'm going to try to dodge it. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about, like, the meta here is about taking your actions away. Though you get attacked, and if it doesn't, like, um, if it's not wildly high, like if it's a natural 20, you can't really usually dodge it. But if it's like a normal attack, you say, okay, I'm going to try to dodge, and I rolled a 7, so hopefully I beat their whatever they rolled, which is probably going to be higher than 7. So um, that means
Right.
I'm probably going to take the hit, and I'm losing that action. And that's kind of, either way, you're losing that action. So your actions are going to be very limited in every round of combat, which is just one of several reasons why you're going to want to stay out. So, there's options to parry, dodge, and disarm and entangle. So, the saving throws on Palladium are generally, it's kind of similar to any other saving throw you might expect. So, save versus insanity. Save versus mind control is probably going to come up. That's one that is going to be a definite possibility for a factor. There's kind of a lot of that going on in this adventure. And if I go over to skills, everybody has some skills that are identical because of what I said earlier about the setup on this particular adventure here. So they've been training you in things like acrobatics, gymnastics, competitive swimming. You've got a cooking skill, and a few slots were left open so that you can add a few of your own within certain parameters. Basically whatever you want within a few, within the parameters of the story. There's a few skills like running that you don't actually roll anything for running, so it's actually just there to show that you have it, just so you know that it's on your character
Right. It's
sheet.
just a placeholder. Yeah.
Yeah. What some of these do is actually, especially the physical skills. This is another part of the Palladium meta here, is when you're building your character, you generally load them up with physical skills, which is going to take up your physical attributes. So you'll see a few of these characters, 2 of which have been chosen, Dr. Dunstan and Poe, which have, for example, like high IQ, or maybe a high mental affinity, or maybe a high mental endurance. But almost everybody has at least a decent amount of physical strength. Physical prowess, maybe, it's a little harder to get up, but it's probably not something like between 5 and 9. And physical endurance is probably getting up there too. Speed as well. So speed is another attribute that can get bumped up by your training. And that's sort of the meta on some of these physical skills, is that they give you, when you take gymnastics, it gives you certain sub-abilities like sense of balance, climb rope, climbing, backflip, prowl, rings and bars. And then it also gives you a plus to roll with a punch or a fall, and then these pluses to your attributes. And on every one of these, I always gave the maximum for your characters. I didn't roll them. Everybody got +4 to physical prowess for that. So, and +18 to SDC. And then there's the mutations, which are things like if somebody decides they want to play Hurricane, Hurricane has a mutation for extra strength. Each one of these guys will have different mutations depending on how they were built, but I'm trying to remember.
All right, here, hold on. Well, keep
Sure.
going. I'm gonna sign into my laptop and make Brian put me on the internet. That way I can look at my character sheet.
Gotcha. It's okay if you want to do this later too. I mean, it's 'cause since we're not playing for a week anyway, and on the one hand everybody left, but on the other hand, this will be a video that they can watch later too. So maybe that'll be helpful.
Heard.
So as you were being raised, I didn't actually mention this. Everybody knows a mysterious unknown language that all the other characters understand. Everybody in the facility understands this language. It's a mysterious, mostly monosyllabic language that everybody in the facility seems to speak and understand innately, if not consciously. And I actually didn't mention anybody about like what that's about, other than just what I said just now. But that,
Sweet inside scoop. Oh.
yeah, inside scoop. So there you go. So this is a special language that that everybody in the facility is trained in, but it's just a mystery language. Nobody knows anything about it, and you don't have to worry about rolling with languages. Language rolls are for like if the character like wants to write a book or something. That's when you make a language roll. You don't use a language roll just to talk to some schmuck, you know. So
Some
and
schmuck.
then, yeah. And then there's a few skills that are like torture methods and psychological warfare. And these are skills that your characters have because this is what's been inflicted upon them, and that's how they learned it. So it's there because you've been subjected to it.
So all of our characters are traumatized. Perfect.
Yes, every one of them is in the same situation. So you won't see these other two tabs. I'll turn off admin mode, and you'll see just combat skills in main. And if I go back to main, there's a few pools down at the bottom, like armor SDC. Hurricane has supernatural armor, and you might have an armor rating and an armor SDC. In Palladium, if you do wind up in combat, any roll of 4, that is a hit. If you roll 4 or higher modified, any roll that is trying to get through armor, if you have an armor rating, that 4 becomes, for Hurricane, that would be an 11.
Did you dare drink all of the soda and not put any back?
I've only had one, Brian.
I'm blaming you.
Okay.
Oh boy. Suddenly I
Yeah,
have
I'm watching.
flashbacks to having a roommate.
Yeah, he grabs Coke every morning on the way to work and never puts any back in the fridge. And he
Bullshit.
thinks
I'm
it's
the only
me.
one who puts any back.
I haven't had but one.
Did you put one back?
Yes.
Lies.
Anyway. All right, keep going, man. Don't let us distract you.
Don't worry about it. Let's see. Okay.
What are you talking about, roommates? My apartment.
So if somebody was attacking Hurricane, they'd have to roll an 11. If they get a 4 through 11, it hits Hurricane's armor, which will potentially, it could take SDCU damage off of the armor, but it's going to depend. Like, you will have the opportunity to respond to any attack or any action that's being carried upon you. So, like, you can dodge, parry, roll sometimes. You know, depending on it depends on circumstances too. Like an ambush, death blow. You know, from a called headshot is not something you're going to be able to dodge, but there might be defenses against it, but that's going to be a tough one. So, but that's not something I'm going to just like, oh, hey, a sniper you didn't see just blew your brains out. I might kill some characters, but I won't kill them like that.
I don't know. I mean, the idea of instant death from afar is.
I might kill some.
You know,
I might kill some NPCs like that just to illustrate that you have
it could happen to you too. Yeah.
you have stuff to worry about. There is tension. There are stakes. But I won't just. But the other big thing that I really need to let you know about this character sheet is that it's not perfect. It's like I said, it's actually a generic character sheet that's been configured to work with Palladium, and it's not guaranteed to get everything quite exactly right. So I'm not really too much of a stickler about rules anyway, but it's something that I think everybody should know. It's a generic character sheet. It's very good. It's not perfect. So there's a few places where you'll see these little talk bubbles, like sitting in the corner of different parts of your character sheet. That will send whatever you're clicking on. That will send that to the chat, which is something I like to do if you're using a power or a psionic or something. Then I like players to send that to the chat to say, this is what I'm doing right now. Extra physical strength, crushing strength is a bad example, but let me see if I can. I think Captain Courage has some of his psionics in there already, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. So Captain Courage has telepathy, and so if Kevin's going to be using telepathy, then I'll have him pop this into chat so that's the easiest way. You don't have to look it up; it's right there, and blah blah. So, and I know chickens can't fly. I don't care. I gave them flight anyway.
Hey, real quick. Where is my button to look at my character sheet?
You should have a tab up towards the top right that looks like a little person, and if you hover over it, it'll say actors, and it should be showing up for you, hopefully. I hope.
PCs, bingo, heard.
Just in case. So, bingo. I think. Yeah, I haven't fully finished bingo yet, but he's got enough there that you should get a pretty good idea of what he is about. So he might still need to be mutated. I think he still needs to be mutated.
Let's see here.
So everybody is going to be.
I want to just see the combat page.
Everybody is going to be full speech, fully bipedal, and have some kind of working hands. I don't really want to deal with any of that. You're in a scientific facility. You're going to need those things. It's not going to be really doable to have the type of mutant that's just a grunting animal that kind of crashes around.
That's exactly what I was going to play. No, I'm just kidding. No, I picked bingo because I've actually got a German Shepherd, so it worked out.
Oh, lovely. Wonderful.
Yeah.
I'm a big dog lover.
Yeah, same.
Cool. Well, bingo is a good boy. And I also didn't mention, I've got everybody's alignment set to anarchist. That's not.
Yeah, that's the first thing I zeroed in on.
That's not a requirement. That was just I just put that there and forgot I put it there, and then duplicated all the character sheets. I was probably gonna say, um, it I was probably gonna say one of two things. I was either gonna say play a good alignment where you're not a dick, or play any alignment you want, which I think makes more sense. But I don't want any characters that are not going to play with the team. You know, it's if your character is gonna be a heel, then let's not do that. But I haven't really decided which yet. It seems to make more sense just to pick any alignment you want, evil or otherwise, because um, because of the circumstances of the story. So
Yeah. I mean, just to compare, Bebop and Rocksteady were definitely, I wouldn't say chaotic evil, but they weren't good guys for sure, and they worked really well together. So,
they were hilarious.
but sort of, I guess. Yeah.
So I don't think I have much else to really say. I think that's pretty much all the setup that I have to share. So I do need to finish your character, but I can tell you, like I said, I can tell you that the mutations are going to start with full biped, full hands, full speech, and then we're going to go from there. So I mean that's well over half your bio E right there. I'm going to actually put that in your character sheet right now. So bio E, if you didn't know, I don't know if you know the game or not, but the bio E, the bio energy, that's like the pool, that's like the resource that you use to mutate the character, and you can do things like size changes. You can give it different looks, different speech. You know, obviously hands or no hands, things like that. And then there's a whole big list of special things. Let me see what the German Shepherd has. So, because I've got a pretty good idea of what it's going to be already, but let me just should be in your character sheet if I go to skills. Let's see, did I put it in there? Mutant animal dog. It's just a generic. Okay, so things like advanced hearing, advanced smell. You can take ability bumps from spending bio E and things like that. Like I said, this is going to be mostly done for you. I was trying to leave a little bio E left over for some of the players to spend to mutate the last few mutations if they want to. But this is largely from the story perspective out of your control. But you know, more to the point, I don't. There's a huge learning curve to creating these characters, and I just want to get right to the adventure next week.
Heard. So once we start playing and stuff. Hello?
You cut out. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Hold on. We're sharing the internet. Is this a level-based system?
Yes, but there is actually how to put this? The levels mean a lot less than they do in Palladium. The levels mean a lot less than they do in most other games because you don't have a character class. In Rifts and some of the other Palladium games, you do have a character class, and the levels mean a bit more, but it's not like D&D. Leveling is not really a big deal. You get usually you get a few bumps to your skills, a few bumps to your different pools, like obviously hit points, you know, standard type stuff. And then all the other bumps generally come from combat training, which you're not going to have. Combat training is most of what goes up when you level, and that's to say not much. You know, not much happens when you level in Palladium.
Heard.
I can put in, like, for an example, martial arts. So this is what a person with martial arts has. You can see like level 1, 2, 3. Like level 4, they get one more attack, action per melee or attack per melee. Level 5, they get to do jump kicks. Level 6, they get a little bit more of a critical range, which is, I would call that a bigger deal than jump kicks, but I would not call Palladium balanced. I would not call it sane. It is fun though. So, yeah, if you start going down a rabbit hole, if you start Googling and start looking around, you're going to find all kinds of house rules or just opinions or things, we just need to completely revamp it and make an entirely new Palladium system or blah blah. It's been this way since the early 80s. The change to second edition was not huge. There were some changes, but it wasn't like wildly revamping the system or anything, and so the change to second edition was basically the last time the Palladium mechanics were updated. Now, what he does, this guy is a machine. It's mainly Kevin Sambita and Eric Wojcik, I think, but Eric Wojcik has died. But those two guys, and now Kevin, and he's got another guy that he works with, just pump out content like madmen, like constant expansions, like setting expansions, equipment, just different pieces of lore and so on. They never ever redo anything with the mechanics, not that I'm aware of.
Gotcha.
So, but anyway, it's interesting. There's all kinds of interesting stuff going on behind the scenes with that. Whatever. The point is, don't beat yourself up. It's just a wacky ass system, And we're playing a game that they made to be wacky in this already wacky ass system. So.
Let's see here. Did I lose you guys? There it is.